There
we
Yay!
go. We're live.
Yay!
Welcome back for day 2.
All right. Well, I think, you've both been on the show before, so we can just get right down into it because I'm sure we have lots to discuss from Alien Resurrection. I will say, okay. I do enjoy this film in the way.
Sorry.
I will say that it gave me at least. Listen, it's not number 3.
Hey, Anthony.
It's not. It gave me a decent send off to Ripley because she's not in the rest of these movies, and that 3 did not do.
I think I like it more than 3, but also if I never have to see them either again, that's also better.
Yeah. So that was our question to each other last night because Sharai and I watched this together last night, and we were like, I don't know if I was like, God, is this a better movie than 3? I enjoyed watching it more than 3, if only because I had more fun. I have so many notes that I'm going to let you guys all start because my only opening note is this is the nastiest opening credits I've ever seen in my life.
They were gross.
It was disgusting.
I didn't need to see so many different body parts attached to the wrong parts of a body in my life. Also, they were all in tubes of, again, KY jelly. And I don't know. At what point do you reach too much KY jelly in your franchise and go, we got to do something different?
This was by far the most drooly of the franchise. Like the alien just consistently dripped drool. And the whole, I'm trying not to get too far ahead because there were so many good moments in that, right after the opening credits. Mostly when the Ripley, spoiler if you haven't seen it, the Ripley clone is bursting through her cocoon. I was like, come on, Marina Abramovich, that performance this is very much giving me Lady Gaga at the Grammys the year that she was birthed through the egg. She's punching her way out of this cocoon, and Sharai and I both unmuted at the same time and was like, performance artist?
Right. Ripley's back and she's a street performer. Plot twist.
But you get to see the nails first, and they are so cute. And they match her eventual outfit. I was like, look, if I burst out of a alien cocoon of mesh or cheesecloth, I want my nails on sitting like that.
Yes.
I will say costumes brought it for this one because I was not purchasing what they were bringing me these last 3 movies. But this time they were like, what if they were cute in space? And it was also futuristic enough. And I was like, yes, I would wear some of these.
Her outfit that she eventually winds up wearing throughout the whole movie, Sharai and I were like, oh my God, I want this. It looks like Margiela. I was like, wait, I need to know who did the costumes in this movie because this is so 90s in general, but very 90s, fashion week, usually fall, winter, gave me big Alexander Wang / Margiela / Alexander McQueen vibes. And Winona's outfit, I was like, okay, we're in space. We loved Winona in this whole movie. I was like, she deserved so much better.
Yeah. They all did. This was a cast that deserved a better movie.
Yeah. I know. I'm trying to keep my thoughts in order, with time. I have notes with timestamps for the movie because I don't want to
yes.
But do we think? Oh, go ahead.
The costume designer is Bob Ringwood.
Bob can dress me any day because Bob.
Right, I was like, is he?
Bob understood the assignment
because yes, Bob understood the assignment. I was like, is he still with us? Can he dress me for my next event or carpet?
It's beautiful.
I love this.
Yeah.
No, this is the first time I was like, why is Sigourney Weaver in a bag? That's what I've said the whole franchise. I was like, do you hate Sigourney Weaver? You're giving her a lot of millions of dollars to put her in a bag. And Bob was like, we gave her millions of dollars. She should look like Sigourney Weaver.
Well,
the check is
out. No, Sharai pointed out that Sigourney Weaver is 47 in this movie, and I said, "Come again?" I was like, "She's 47, not 37." I was like, "You're lying. You're lying to me right now." And I had to literally look it up, and I was like, "Damn."
Doing that math made me relook at the first 2. She was a final woman the whole time.
Yes.
Which again is why she didn't have any time for people's shit. She's a grown ass woman. She's like, don't bring that alien onto my ship. Told you to bring it onto my ship. What?
The funny thing is, I like Trent. I did enjoy this film though. Rewatching it, I'm not going to pretend like it's better than the first two because it's not. But for what it was giving, it was enjoyable. Like, was it a good or bad film? I would probably veer on the side of saying it was probably a bad film, but I really did enjoy like the elements. I liked how absolutely wicked Sigourney is. Is it Sigourney or Sigourney?
I would say Sigourney.
Yeah.
Sigourney?
Yeah, I say Sigourney.
Okay, like I absolutely love how wicked she is in this. It shows her versatility.
And we talked about
sorry.
No, you're good. We're talking about in 3 that she's like not the Ripley that we've seen in the first two. Well, in this one, she's still not the Ripley we saw in the first two, but it makes sense because she's not that Ripley. She's a different.
Okay, Trent, this is what I wanted to bring up because I have in mind, I was like, are clones the same person? Because this movie came out the year after, or maybe like 18 months after Dolly the Sheep happened. Do y'all remember that? Dolly the Sheep getting cloned?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It happened when we were like in kindergarten, but literally like Dolly the Sheep. Yeah, Dolly the Sheep got cloned and people like exploded. People were like, is it ethical to clone? Should we only do it to animals? Blah, 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 blah. So do we think that clones are the same person? Because if they are, then because you know how like genetically twins are the same person genetically, but like personality wise, they can be completely different people.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with your thoughts on nature versus nurture. And I think that your lived experiences create more of your person other than biological things, because that's probably more born with. But like, yeah, I don't think she's the same. I don't think clones are the same people. I think that they're
same
lived experiences.
I think that she carries enough of her to get the fallout of all the trauma because this clone wanted to bone. Like she
for sure.
She was horny the whole movie. Listen, she was like sniffing people. And can we talk about, okay, I don't want to skip too far ahead, but the scene with the doctor with the ponytail when he was like licking the window that the alien is on, I said, bro. I was like, why are you making out? It's like, it's giving me very much like 13-year-old practicing on his hand before he kisses the girl in the dance. He's like against the glass and he's like, and I'm just like, oh, somebody's gonna make a gif of that. Oh, well, it was so gross. And I like unmuted and asked Sharai, I was like, are they?
It was weird. It was so weird. Because again, like the aliens look like they're coated in Vaseline and they're dripping KY.
Yes.
So like, what do you want to take away from that? On top of it being this giant ass alien, which I've never looked at it and gone sexy. I've looked at it and gone like water bug, roaches.
I mean, speaking of juices, when speaking of KY, when Johnner kept trying to like come on to Ripley 8 or whatever, I'm like, you do not want to lay with this woman because if you are in the spray zone, it is going to snatch your face off. It's acidic.
Ooh, right?
So you don't want that word.
Oh my God. I didn't even think of like
I did.
Yeah.
I was so tired last night. I was too busy making comments on this being Space Jam 2.0, the real Space Jam. Because we get the iconic basketball scene where she's like, they're playing basketball. And she like just sinks a 3 and then she sinks one over her shoulder. And I'm like, can we draft her? Because I'm a Hawks fan. So I'm like, is she available? Like, she was hitting threes. Like, I was like, oh my God. And then her shoes, I was like, these are the original Space Force ones. Like, I need these so bad.
Yes.
I was like, I want her costume so bad. And I am not built like Sigourney Weaver. Like, I am 5'2". I got hips, but I was like, I need this space outfit. And even when she's learning like how to be human again, y'all, when she's in the straight jacket, I was like, why does that straight jacket kind of slap? Right. No, it's like a corset. And I was like, this is so 90s because, okay. So Space Jam came out the year before this. And then right around the same time, Men in Black came out. And I was like, oh my God, this movie is literally Men in Black with the Matrix. Like that's what this movie is.
I can see that.
Big vibes.
I just foresee us all meet up in real life for a horror con or whatever, wearing the straight jackets.
Oh my God.
And it's just like, you were also on Etsy? What?
That's excellent.
Literally, Let me get my office set up once I move, and I'll just bust out the sewing machine and be like, all right, send me your measurements. Like, let's make this happen.
Let's go.
On that basketball scene, though, you know what I was getting vibes of a little bit? I was getting Michael Jackson vibes between either the Jam video or Scream, like the one with Janet Jackson.
Yes.
Like those two videos, like, I was getting that vibe. I don't know what was giving me that feel. I don't know, but yeah.
I always, as a kid, thought that Sigourney Weaver and Michael Jackson had a similar face shape.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah. Because like the cheeks and
Jamie's like, no disrespect. No disrespect. Yeah.
No, I just had never I've never put two and two together, and it just washed over me, the realization, y'all. I was like, damn.
Because as a kid, I was like, I wonder if they're related. And I got a bit old. I'm like, that's a dumb question. Don't say that out loud.
They're related.
Yeah, because like it was very similar face shapes, and like Michael was a confusing person to figure out as a child. And
as a child, like, you didn't know, right?
Yeah,
as an adult, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, they are not related.
And then with her hair being like wet and long like that, it's definitely it gives me Michael vibes.
It's the same vibe.
And she was also just in her body in this one in a way that she hasn't been before. Because she was down to bone. So like her movement, her physicality, I was like, is she seducing me? I'm confused.
I'm feeling things.
So like we got to like the 58-minute mark, and I checked the timestamp, and I said, Sharai, we are only 58 minutes in this movie, and there's another 55 minutes in this movie. We were like, oh my God. But that's this timestamp around that time when she gets on the ground and starts like sniffing it, and then she's like moving very animalistic.
Yeah.
And I have so many thoughts, but like basically this whole movie, I was like, A, she's very like horny for space. And B, like there is so much ableism in this movie because they have the character in the wheelchair. And he's hilarious. Like these little comebacks. Yes, he's so funny. His like when he comes out of the elevator and he was like, who were you expecting? Santa Claus? Like that took me out. But we get introduced to his character by Johnner dropping the knife on him as he's working underneath the rig, and us realizing, oh, he can't feel it. And I like unmuted and asked Trey, I said, ableism. It's so fucked up. Like, and then when he winds up having to get carried by the other characters.
But to be fair, he's also the one that has to hold on. Like, only using his arms to when the other guy gets attacked.
Christy. Yeah. Oh, y'all, Christy is a fine man. That whole movie, it was just Sharai and I thirsting after Christy. I was like, he's such a good-looking man.
Like, for some reason, this one, they were like, we have to find our one black man for the movie because we only have one every movie. But it's going to be fine. Because people are coming after us, it's going to be fine before we kill him.
And he's so fine, he has to sacrifice himself. Sorry, Sharai, go ahead.
Right? No, you have to sacrifice a hot black man in order to, like,
that's in every single movie. There's been, Ryan, we talked about this yesterday with the first three. Every single movie, there's a black character that has to sacrifice themselves. Every movie. And I was like, damn, they're not even being subtle about this. Like, it's out loud. But the first time we saw them, we were talking about like something completely unrelated to the movie. And both of us at the same time just went, damn. Like there was like a pause in our conversation.
I've gone far enough.
Yes. He starts like unclipping, and I was like, oh, I hate pooping all of a sudden. Like,
right? I was like, no wonder Clone Ripley's horny. She's seen him and she's like, hey.
Okay.
Well, and then like the basketball scene specifically when she's passing the ball behind Johnner's head. What the hell? I was like, are we trying to show that she's superhuman? Like, and now having seen the whole movie, and I've seen it before, but I'm glad I rewatched it last night because we were like, oh, I forgot this happened. Like there's whole scenes from that movie I straight up forgot happened.
Well, and so going back to Ripley being so horny in his face, I wonder if that has to do with the fact that she's part alien. And they've said in previous films that the alien is only really concerned about reproducing. So I'm wondering how much of that is alien and how much of that is Ripley.
I think it's a mixture of alien / this clone carrying all of this trauma, because trauma responses are trauma responses. And she's been through a lot of trauma.
And being hypersexual is a trauma response. This is something we talked about last night too. Is like,
yeah, it is.
we were like, damn, why didn't we record ourselves talking on Clubhouse? Because basically, like, her hypersexuality is like, it's already there from being part aliens. Again, if you're watching this stream and you haven't seen this movie,
You don't know what the hell we're talking about.
yeah, they're like, what? Especially if you only see the first movie and then you watch this one, I would be so lost. I would be like, what is happening? And the only, like, literally the entire movie, I was just like, God, like, she's already so, like, screwed up from PTSD, but she's also clone number 8. And that was probably my favorite part of the movie, was the big reveal that she's clone number 8, and that the clones that are in the tubes are what we were seeing during the opening credits. Like, when we got that reveal, I lost it. I was like, oh my God, this is the best part of the movie. This is actual, for once, like, genius storytelling since the original. And then when she has to flamethrower herself, I was just like, what is happening?
I love that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I think when I was, I'm sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
I don't know. Sharai and I both were like, who among us has not wanted to just flamethrower our old life, like, or our old job? Like, who among us has not been like, burn it down? Like,
fire's the only answer sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the only answer.
Truly.
Like, one thing that I've learned, like when I was just like doing the Googling, like after the film, is that scene that you're talking about with the clones and stuff. That was one of the big reasons Sigourney agreed to come back.
It's so
she
good.
liked it too. It meshed with her.
That and the money, because like they are very open.
Amen.
She has been saying, I don't want to do any more movies, and they're just like, how about some more money? And then she's like, no, and they're like, how about some more? And she's like, oh, that many millions? I guess.
It's 11 million, right?
11 million for this one.
Yeah.
But also, like, can we talk about how Hollywood?
Y'all would never hear from me again.
But also, that's just like, it feels ooky. If somebody doesn't want to do your movie, you're like, well, what's your price? Like, that feels weird. Like, y'all have been on the show before. Yeah, if y'all had been like, we won't do your show anymore, we wouldn't be like, what if we start paying you? How much we need to start paying you to come back? Clearly, they don't want to work with you anymore.
Sharai, don't give me any ideas, okay?
Yeah, I was like, oh, my Venmo is, for anyone watching. Like,
right.
At that glitter burrito.
Ryan's got a Patreon.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it felt weird because it's so Hollywood to be like, clearly she hates this franchise now. Clearly she's working with us. Let's find her price instead of fixing things.
And I do think that part of her hesitation was
how fix the things.
Yes, I do think that her hesitation was how poorly the filming for 3 went, because they didn't have a script, which we talked about at length yesterday. I know, but like they started number 3 with like 20 pages of a script.
What?
Yeah. Oh, Ryan, they did not have number 3 finished at all.
That's trash.
When they started filming.
It shows.
It's like when you go over to your friend's house who just started cleaning up right before you showed up, and it's like, don't open anything, don't sit on anything, and you're like, what happened? And like you see like things under stuff, and you're like, what has happened? It's like, I was cleaning 2 minutes before you got here. That's surprising me.
That vine of the guy pretending to be a mom, and he's like, we can't let people know we live here, and he's like vacuuming on like high warper speed.
I love that vine, by the way.
Me too. It's one of my favorites.
That was that movie. Them trying to hide things in front of us.
It was terrible.
No, it's like we saw you in that closet.
Right. I will say this one, I feel like the humor landed a lot better than it did in the first.
Yes.
In the third one. I was like, okay, this is a joke and I'm actually laughing at it.
Sharai said no.
There was no humor in the third. There was no joke there.
There's no humor there.
No, that's what I'm saying. This one was the jokes actually landed in this one where they didn't.
Right. Well, we
were there jokes in the third one?
I tried.
Was the third one the joke? Was that the whole joke? That was like, haha, you watched all this. Haha. Gotcha, sucker.
Were y'all laughing with them or at them? You know,
at them. The whole time we were watching it, Ryan, we were like, this is so much worse than I remember. Like,
oh my God.
I was laughing at myself. I was the gif of the person putting on clown makeup, looking in the mirror as I watched the movie. I was like, I did this to myself.
Are you talking about the I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I decided this.
TikTok are like, what is happening right now?
No. Yeah. We should fix that.
Yeah, you should fix that because that sound and that filter are immaculate.
Yeah.
Because see, when you do clownery,
That part.
You get alien free.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we were watching 4, though, like the pacing is not awful because the pace. Everyone bitches about the pacing in number 2. That it's faster. They're like, oh, when I say bitches, I mean they compare it to number 1, and I'm like, listen, I said this before. I've said this on all 4 live streams so far. Number 1 is like, I'm gonna turn into Martin Scorsese for a second. Number 1 is a good film. Number 2 is a fun movie. They are very different things. This one is I would say it's a film because like the depth they get into some of the characters, but the whole time, and do you know, this is so awful. Do you know who one of the characters, oh my gosh, Ryan, who's our character that's disabled?
Oh, Reese.
Yeah, I almost called him something else. That's why I was like trying to keep them all straight. That was the other thing. There was like 8 characters, and I kept unmuting to ask Sharai. I'm like, what's their name? Because the girl has untreated ADHD. So like, good luck.
I just had to be like archetypes. That's the girlfriend. That's what
I did. I was like, he's the that's
Winona Ryder.
Right.
Yeah.
That's Winona. Reese reminded me of the doctor in Nightmare Before Christmas that like keeps Sally hostage.
Yes.
That's who his voice. It was his voice. And I was like, oh my God, did they do this like intentionally? And then like Johnner's voice was so weird. He sounded like a Capcom character.
Actor bugs me most of anything I've ever seen him in. And also every character he has, he pushes his bottom jaw out. Like,
he's like a bulldog.
Yeah.
He's gotten typecast, and so I think he just shows up to do that role now.
Yeah, for sure.
No matter the movie.
They make your money.
They give him his paycheck.
Right?
Yeah.
Ron Perlman is his name. The guy I was talking about.
Oh, I love him in other stuff, which is so funny. But his voice is so weird in this movie. It doesn't sound like him, and also I'm used to seeing him. He's always had gray hair, so
yeah.
Everything I've seen him in, he's had like the gray curly hair, and in this, for him to have like the close shaved head and the scar and everything, like he's just so distinctive. It's really hard for me not to see him as anything else.
It also felt weird seeing him try and like aggressively hit on Ripley, because I was like, good sir, I don't see you as a sexual being anymore. I see you as a person who's on my TV all the time. Why are you brushing up with Sigourney Weaver? What?
He was like, you're not into playing basketball? I know some other games we could play. And I was like, sir!
Inappropriate.
Right?
This is Sigourney.
I just want her to turn around and lick him in the face and like let acid burn through. And that'll like help him figure out how to treat women.
That was the other thing. When she was sniffing the guy that winds up being infected, we knew. I was like, oh, I know she's sniffing him to see if he's infected. But because it was so sensual, I was very uncomfortable the whole movie. This movie was the nastiest movie I've ever seen. Like, it made me feel like I need to go take a shower. And then there were so many, like the gore was so different from all the other Alien movies. Because in all the other Alien movies, and Ryan, we talked about this yesterday, they use actual milk on set in the first one.
I'm not surprised. It looks like
the scene when we realize that he's an AI and he's like cut in half in the first one, people like those people reactions were real. Like people were actually reacting to the fact that the milk had been like, because you film for like 12 hours a day. So like it was like rancid at that point.
Oh.
Right. And then this one we get like the realistic, like the guy that builds his own ammunition and like blasts a hole in one of the other officers.
Yeah.
It's very realistic. And the shooting scenes didn't really bother me. They did look very much like when they do ballistics testing on like CSI shows and stuff. They do. It looks like ballistic testing. But all the other gore was so visceral that I was actually sick to my stomach at certain parts. And I don't get sick to my, like, there's certain things, like I can see the slashers are my favorite. I can like see them all day long. Doesn't bother me. I don't do like Saw 3 forward because they get too real and too gross. I don't do like a lot of torture stuff, but this was so surreal. But I could feel like the cocoon material with the humans when they fall into the trap. Oh my God. Can we talk about the trap, you guys?
Oh God. That.
It looks like a bunch of buttholes.
soap and water.
It was so nasty. This is Ryan. We're talking about when they swim through the water and then pop out, and Ron character's like, they set a goddamn trap for us, and they zoomed out, and it was like palpating, and I was like, oh my god,
a circle of assholes.
It was really a circle of assholes, which is also what I call, like, you know, when I have to deal with like any bureaucracy, like, you know, like calling the IRS or whatever. It's just a circle of assholes. Like, it was so nasty.
When the face hugger popped out of one. I was like, we've gone too far. You shot a face hugger out of an asshole. Stop the franchise. Stop the franchise.
Yeah, I'm glad we waited until I was done eating to start last night, because I would have not. I was eating like chicken tacos, and I was like, hold on, let me not eat during this movie, because absolutely not. And if you've seen Zombie Ass, now that's all I can think of, Sharai, is the face hugger coming out of the butthole.
Yes.
But
oh my god,
this is the first time, and I think this is one of the reasons I liked this movie more than I thought I would. Is this is the first time that we see the alien actually like think and like have problem solving skills? Because like in the first one, it's just one and it's rampaging. The second one, they're kind of mindless, like just zombies.
Kill. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in this one, like when that one alien starts killing all the other ones, so that the blood will make a big hole for him to get out. I was like, oh shit, y'all done fucked up.
I like how you skipped over the third one. You were like, in the first one they were this, the second one they were this, and in this one,
the third one didn't happen.
I just like how Trent said problem solving skills like this was a job interview. So, Mr. Xenomorph, why would you like to work for our company?
Well, I escaped prison at one point and killing my brothers and sisters.
Yes, I am a newly paroled former felon. Like,
oh my god,
a job application.
Also, what are your special skills?
My blood is acid. That might come in handy.
Also, that baby alien that like, you know, survivors everybody, outlasts. Sharai's already know what I'm going to say. Yes. It looks like the grandmother or the mom in SpongeBob who's like, they're selling chocolates. Like, that's what that alien looks like. And the whole movie, I was like, chocolates. Like, I'd like unmute and like just comment. And Sharai was just like, oh my God, I'm going to have to like put you back in the audience. Like, it was so bad. It was so distracting. And the little eyes, it looked so...
I didn't understand. Okay, so was that was her alien?
What you're talking about the hybrid thing at the end?
Yeah.
From what I understand, like when everything happened, this new alien mom took things from Sigourney's character. I mean Ripley, and Ripley took things from so it was like they were similar. Yeah. So that's why when it came out, it looked like one of the damn clones in the tubes, because like they had very similar genetic composition, but as a result, it was closer related to Ripley and recognized it as its mother or whatever. And that thing looked frightening. That was also a good scene.
That was ugly.
So nasty.
Yeah. That was ugly. They were like, in case you couldn't see all the jelly put on the original aliens, let's make it light so you can see all the pockets of goop.
It was so bad. It was so bad. In the whole movie, I was just like, I am going to be sick. Like, this one, for whatever reason, like I could take the getting cut in half and all the first three. Like I could handle all of the white goop. I could handle like the deaths. But this one, for whatever reason, I mean, I guess because it was 1997 and like special effects had finally like caught up with life. It was the nastiest. The whole movie, I was just like, I need to go wash myself. Like
there was one scene I was like, I wonder how Jamie's taking this.
Which scene? Which one?
Is it the one with we would see it inside of him? Is it that scene?
Yes.
Oh.
I unmuted. I even said, Trent, I was like, I don't like this. Like that was my only comment. I was like, I don't like this at all.
I was like, I never wanted to see how the sausage got made. I just wanted to see the fallout. This is a bridge. I never needed to know.
Bad. It was so bad. And then like it came out through his I thought it was going to come out like through his throat, but then when it came out through his stomach, and then they were trying to save him, and I was like, y'all.
No.
You can come back from that. Like, no, when an alien busts out of your stomach, you're done. It's over.
Yeah.
And turn off the lights, go home.
And also another thing that was so distracting for me was when again, this is at like the 1 hour mark. We finally get like movement at the 1 hour mark when they go underwater and they're swimming, they think they're gonna be able to escape. Oh my God. The alien, when it's underwater, Sharai unmuted and was like, I wonder if it can swim. And I was just like, it can.
What was propelling that alien through the water, though?
That's my problem. It doesn't have any.
What do you mean?
It doesn't have like webbed fingers. Yeah, it doesn't have webbed fingers. It doesn't have like gills, number one, which it's covered in goo all the time, so maybe it can breathe. I don't know. But when it swam around the corner, I was like, this is the worst. Like, this is almost on the same level of number 3 in terms of like CGI. Like, it was so bad.
It also lost its size because this alien's been this massive thing for all 3 of these once it's a full adult. And then you put it underwater and it's like my height and it's just like
it definitely looks smaller.
Yeah.
It definitely looks smaller.
I also it did make me laugh though when they got out of the water and I was like, can the alien now not go out of the water? It just kind of sat there. I was like,
while they were trying to like burst to the top. Yeah, it could have swam up and eaten them, and I was like,
but I guess it was wanting them to get to the trap so it could have more aliens.
Oh yeah, maybe. But I guarantee you, Trent, you thought about that. The filmmakers did not.
No. my other question is, after they did this swim, when you think the alien will be less greasy? So is it just like emitting these greases from its pores, or if it doesn't have pores? Where is this oil and Vaseline coming from?
It has a butthole in its forehead that just oozes
anal fluid. Factory.
Yeah.
Right? Because the next time we saw it, coated in KY again, and I was like, you just took a bath. You were underwater. You should be cleaner. You should be drier.
I mean, let's be real. This alien's tongue has teeth on it. So I don't know how the biological things of this alien may have. How does it eat? Does it just eat? Does it use the tongue to eat? So it takes forever to eat?
I mean, that's some serious portion control, by the way. I wish.
I do not have that kind of self-control. Sorry about you.
That was good.
Also,
I'd be the skinniest girl out.
Yes. Do you know what it looks like? It looks like the Chatterer Cenobite from Halo.
Yes.
It was like, and I was like, oh God.
It sounds like trying to start a lighter, like.
Oh God. I'm done with you, Ryan.
Thank you.
What about that death though of the hybrid thing at the end, like through the? So I actually had this is the thing. I feel trash for this, but I don't know space or science. That's why I write. But but I felt like when they got like a hole like in the thing, I'm like, doesn't space suction work a lot more aggressively than what they made it seem? I mean, I'm happy that it sucked him, it shucked him out, whatever. What am I doing here? It feels like I'm like,
my goodness, not my goodness.
It sucked about that booty hole first. It sucked about that window, booty hole first.
And then it Sharai, what did you call it last night?
I was like, I don't feel good about this glory hole they just made. And then it smashed it.
And then it literally sucked him out ass first. And I was like, oh, purse first. Like the whole time.
Yeah. Ass first.
Like, get such into space. Purse first. Like, I need to know if Bob the drag queen has ever seen this movie because I was hollering the whole time.
It felt like one giant dirty porno, this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Trent was like, I'm getting my oats. I'm feeling myself.
We'll go take a KY jelly bath in a minute. It's fine.
I can't.
KY jelly.
I got a towel on my wine. I spilled, y'all. Hold on.
That set probably smells so funny.
KY jelly and milk all day, every day.
Sweat. The sweat from underneath those all leather costumes.
Yes.
Oh my God. Also, Winona looked incredible, and I was like, oh, she's probably like 30 in this movie. And Sharai pulls up IMDb, and she's like, she was 27. Jacqueline.
First.
She literally was like when she has that like heartfelt moment with Ripley is when it was supposed to be heartfelt, but what it really felt like was
sexual.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they mother? Like at first I was like, is that her mom?
No.
Like, I can't tell.
I'd never seen all of this one because I went to sleep, like I said, as a defense mechanism because it was bad. As a child, I was like, good night. And so, like, I was like, clearly they're related, like, or they're like sister clones or something. And then she went in to kill her, but Sigourney was like, I'm going to seduce you instead. And I was like, I'm confused. Is this Flowers in the Attic? What are we doing here?
I told you, I was like, is this the Folgers commercial? I talk about this like once because so much of horror is like, you know, vaguely sexual. And I'm like, y'all keep putting us in these like Folger commercial situations and I'm uncomfortable. Like,
So did anyone clock that she was a robot before that reveal happened?
As soon as she started talking, I was like, that bitch is a robot.
I was like, Winona Ryder was too famous at this time to not be a robot or an alien. So therefore, I'm going to go with robot.
That's true.
Yeah.
She was 27 and I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't that far off her age, but
yeah.
She has these features, and Sharai and I talked about this last night too. Do y'all remember that artist? And I'm blanking out on her name. I'm gonna have to Google real quick. But she was like super popular in like the early to mid 2000s. But she would make like the paintings with like the really big eyes. She would do. I know there was somebody in the 60s that did that too. But she would make these paintings with the really big eyes, and then like make them look like almost sickly, like circles under their eyes. Like it was a thing with like the scene in the MySpace Kids, aka.
Yeah.
I'll have to look her up real quick, but that's what Winona's character looks like. And as soon as she came on screen, I was like, oh, they gave her the Courtney Cox Arquette in Scream 3 haircut. I was like, this is sorry, Trent. Yeah. I was like, why did they do this to her? Because her features are so beautiful. And I'm just like, do they not have barbers in space? Like, do they not have I don't understand.
They didn't have barbers and they don't have hair dryers because Sigourney Weaver's hair was wet the whole
Don't you talk about that wet and wavy. I was living for the wet and wavy, baby.
No. It's like she just showered every time they found her. And it's, what are you doing?
But it was,
we gotta shower so much.
She got a hold of that soul glow and didn't let go. And I was here for it.
Not the soul glow.
She's like, this is my first Jerry curl.
Yes. She was like, bounce. But that was her in like number 1 too, like, or actually number 3, right before she shaves her head is like that too. It's not as wet, but she's like, look at this body. Like I'm like, oh, she's about to use some like just for me. Like
yes.
Have you seen Hollywood Shuffle?
Yes, I love Hollywood Shuffle.
There's a part in Hollywood Shuffle where he runs out of his like activator, and it's just like
y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong.
I was like, okay, so we have lube, milk, and her hair products. That's all we have in this episode.
But Sharai, you've already said it, right? Like, there's so much KY jelly everywhere, and she's been fighting them for 3 movies. It was only a matter of time before it got in her hair.
Right?
She
was like, stop chasing me and rub this down real quick.
Yes. Those are the alien genes, because you know she has like the genes of that. Where else with the KY jelly? Ooh, where else? But no, but it showed up like she was hella horny. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot happening with the wetness in this film. It definitely felt like it was a juicy film.
I was like, this is how we got our groove back. This is not Resurrection.
This was the gusher of the franchise. Like,
yes, my gusher.
It's so funny you said that because that's what I said last night. I was like, this franchise should literally be called like Juicy, Juicier, Juiciest, and then this one was Too Juiciest.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Too
fast, too juicy.
Too fast, too juicy. That's what they should have called it. Alien. Too fast, too juicy.
Too juicy. Juicy space drift. Like that's what this was.
Right?
Even the part where she was like, "Who do I gotta to get off this boat?" I'm like,
yes,
ma'am.
Why is that your first inclination, Ripley? Girl,
she wants it. She ain't had it for 200 years from that weird
contraband. To everybody who will come.
Right.
She's like literally. She's like a frisbee. She's like a boomerang.
Other than Ron Perlman, because she could have got it, but she's like, "Man, I ain't for you."
She was like, I'm 300 years old and I'm an alien, but I still got standards. Bring me everybody else. Everybody else.
Literally everyone.
Yes. Like stepped around him.
Yes, that weird ass doctor in the beginning who was like against the glass of the
yes,
alien.
Perez.
What was he doing? He was like,
wait, not Perez. No, I know who you're talking about. Not Perez.
I'm so glad he died.
Yes,
I was cheering when he died. I was like,
Anybody who wants to fuck an alien is not good people. Like,
Yeah, no.
I'm putting that out there right now.
No.
I'm done.
No.
They said the only thing this boat missing is a train. Okay, I'm sorry. I won't no more. I won't time out. I apologize. No, Jamie, come back.
Well, this was a good episode. I'm just going to end this broadcast.
We have lost, like, okay, our first stream, we were like, let's talk about all the academic properties of this movie. Our second one, we were like, you know what? It was a big, fun, dumb horror movie. With the third one, we were like, so that sucked. Here's why. This one, we're just like, sex and space. Because it's so overt. And like, you know what's wild is that like when we get to see Christy, this is like me just having a frame of reference as being a child of the 90s. I was like, oh my God, he's like the Lenny Kravitz proxy. Like he very much, they were like, oh, we're going to put you in a leather vest. We're going to make you wear dreads. Like he was very much like a Lenny Kravitz proxy. Like this was, and I've kind of pointed this out, I know, like in all the ones we've watched before, but this was trying so hard to be progressive 90s. Like, my God, I was like, this is like I said, it's a Matrix meets Men in Black. And then we have some social commentary on if it's ethical to clone people.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and it was really, and I kind of wish they'd gone further into this, but it was interesting that, so the first three films, it's the company that's like wanting all this to happen. And Sigourney and Ripley, when she first wakes up, thinks, oh, am I with the company again?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, this is the government. So now the government is doing all this stuff to make it happen. So I thought that was really an interesting theme that they should have played with more, but they didn't.
Yeah, the government's always looking for crude oil and looking for KY jelly in space, apparently.
Okay.
Always.
That's where tacos are going.
That's what Space Force is really about.
Right.
Listen, I don't know if we want to get into hot takes this early. I know we're like a couple minutes ahead of where we would normally do it, but I know we all have plenty. So
let's get into those. We might do this a couple times anyways. Let's start those now.
This might take two go around the circle.
I don't know. I mean, I guess my hot take would just be that I actually enjoyed the movie.
Mine is that the best part of this movie is the flamethrower scene where she has to kill her own clone. And that's the only part of this movie that I took seriously. And everything else, I was like, oh, this is a B. Like, if this did not have the budget it did, this is a B movie. Like, if this was not part of the Aliens franchise, if it was a standalone movie, it's a B movie. Like, that's my hot take. I was like, oh my God, the sense of humor that's here in this movie, the weird sexual overtones, like, and undertones for that matter. And I was like, I can tell this was made like with a very specific influence in mind. And I just think because of the movies that came out surrounding this, by the time that they got to production, costuming was like, they had to look like these very specific, like sexy stereotypes in space. And like in all the other movies, we don't have anything sexy. Like in Alien 3, we get Alien Cubed. We get some weird, like, you know, almost rape scene that she gets saved from, but that's because she's the only woman on a planet full of men prisoners. This one is just like, this one is like that picture that people always post as a reaction picture of the girl doing yoga where she's like holding her legs open. Like that's this movie. That is this movie. So my hot take is that if it was not part of the Alien franchise, if it was a standalone, it would have been a B movie.
It would be on Sci-Fi right now. 100% agree.
No, I agree with that. Because
100%.
if it didn't have Sigourney Weaver in it, if it didn't have what's her name?
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder, and the rest of the cast are great too. If it didn't have the cast and the budget and the, you know, it wouldn't. No.
You want to go next, right? And I'll go after you for this round of hot takes. I'm gonna just hot take it out.
I have two actually.
We're gonna go around a few times.
Oh, so just do one this time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're gonna go right back around.
So my first hot take then is I've paid for worse because as y'all know, like it wasn't streaming for free anywhere, but I wasn't mad that I paid for it. It was a cute little ride. I definitely paid for some of the Leprechaun movies. So
oh God.
So I think I'm okay.
Bye.
I don't feel near as bad anymore.
So my first hot take is, even though I hate this movie, I do like the idea that we have a sci-fi horror action situation in the 90s that has two lady leads.
True.
Especially when one of them is 46 at the time of filming, and is playing a very sexualized character who's having fun. This actor's having fun. She didn't want to be back, and you kept offering her money, so she's like, fine, for $11 million, I will come back. And she's just having fun and being sexy, crawling around on floors, confusing everybody. And I want more of that in the genre, because we're like, Act 25, nobody wants to see you anymore, go home. And Sigourney's like, bullshit, look at this, and throws her leg around. And you're like, wow, what has happened? I don't know. And then there was KY jelly and milk for all my friends.
I'm sorry.
Bye.
No.
You had to do that when I had my AirPods in.
Hey, Sharai, can I say one thing about your hot take before we go forward?
Yeah.
You made me think, was she doing the crybaby on the Great Sigourney? Was she doing the crybaby?
She was. Like, it's like she looked into the future and was like, what are Megan and Cardi doing? And how can I do that in my own body? And she was like, hot girl summer. And I was like, Sigourney. She's like, you're right. Hot woman summer.
Space girl summer.
That killed me when y'all said that on the last stream. I almost threw my damn phone.
The ship, like, you've been served. Not like an alien with a little bit of
Someone needs to make that.
They have more than curves. They have ridges and phalanges and some more.
Right? No, I just hope Sigourney's sitting around somewhere right now and going, I'm the shit per the Sci-Fi Academy. Because she earned. She fucking earned.
So taking a note.
Notes. Honestly, like, God, first of all, I'm manifesting it now that y'all are going to get to have Megan on this podcast because she's such a horror fan and we are such fans of her.
Please.
But like what Sharai was saying, my second hot take is just that, like, I feel like this movie would have been taken so much more seriously if they would have had a male lead, unfortunately. Like, people would have taken the storylines more seriously. Because if Ripley's clone somehow ended up being a man, I don't know, we would have been like, we would have gotten like the shirtless scene, you know, like that all movie, like when Chris Evans comes out of the chamber in the first Captain America movie. Bless it. It was his birthday yesterday, so that's why he's on my brain. I know.
What it's always his birthday at my house.
But he would have been taken more seriously as a character, because in this movie, everyone was like, we are just using her as a tool. Like, she's literally just a tool in this movie.
Yeah.
To spell out who's an alien and to lick the floor, apparently. And this was the first movie out of all of them that, well, I take that back. I know they did it in 3 as well, where the acid blood like actually has pretty serious consequences besides like burning through the floor, because like it burns multiple characters. And I know they do that in a couple of other ones, but this one, again, the gore in this one was like a step up from all the other ones. I'm disgusted. Like, that was me though. I was like, this is so nasty.
Yeah. Ryan, what's your other hot take?
My other hot take is, it kind of you can definitely get like certain like Buffy vibes from some of the themes addressed in this that I thought was, you know, it wasn't disarming. Like, this idea that by them 200 years later cloning and, you know, producing Ripley like this is this really bad or dark thing, whereas keeping her dead would have been much better. And even when you look at like how Sigourney was talking about in the interview at that time about how she personally felt for the character of Ripley, there was this great release, you know, at the end of 3 because of what had been done. This idea of recurring a Ripley is actually like disturbing what would have I'm sorry, you guys, my sinuses are gross. Would have been like a peaceful or honorable passing, kind of like what happened with Buffy when,
Right.
like how she passed, and had they let her be, she would have been up in heaven. Versus they shucked her out of that to bring her to what is basically hell, Earth.
Yeah.
And they do a great job of like talking about the, how. Remember when Ron Perlman's character was like, "Oh, Earth, what a shithole." I mean, honestly, like mood. I mean, that was all 2020 for one. Right. and then you also have like the part where, as they're figuring out that Winona is this android, they're like, "Oh, yeah, humans aren't really that humane." So we get that. I mean, these are real recurring things. Like you see all these aliens going around doing all this shit, but really they're just like a force of fucking nature. Like, let's be for real. The real evil are the people who are like splicing and doing all of these like experiments and stuff, and cultivating the environment that these aliens can basically prey on innocent people. And so what's really the big bad in aliens? And I thought that was pretty cool.
I also love the Buffy. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just going to agree with Ryan. It's so funny you said that because that's literally going to be my other hot take. Like, it's them. Like, it's us. It's the same way that people try to take wild animals and put them in the circus and then get pissed off when the tiger bites your hand off. Bitch, it's a tiger. Like, I don't know what you
right.
Make it make sense.
And it's a need for power because these people, especially in this film and in the first 2 or 3 as well, they want to create these aliens as a weapon and try to control them, which, as we see, is not very feasible.
No. And like again on that, we have the government bringing a woman back as a clone to control her. When the government does what for women here? Try to control us. And so
I didn't think about that. Nice.
I'm always thinking about that because I have to live in this world.
And we talked like pink tax. We talked about this like kind of at length in number 3, where like Ripley's always the outsider. Like she's, in the first one, she's the boring stick in the mud that's trying to tell everybody like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. And the second one, she's the, I lost my AirPod, you guys. And the second one, she's the crazy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. In the second one, she's like, I said this yesterday, she's like the crazy, like one that they keep gaslighting where she's like, no, there really are more aliens. And they're like, no, you're good, whatever. And in the third one, she's the only woman on an entire planet full of men, which like nightmares.
Yeah.
And this one, she's the only clone. Like she's the only, there's nothing else like her. Like there's other androids, there's other hybrids, but there's no other clones that survive. They're all in those weird test tubes. And the one that does survive asks her to kill it. So like,
she wasn't doing too hot. She wasn't doing too hot.
Had her arm like this.
Stop it, Trent. She wasn't doing too hot.
No,
she had their alien chicken wing.
Yeah.
The chicken wing up here and the boobs down over here like a Picasso.
The boobs! Oh my God, you guys. Okay, so for you are not a woman, her boobs were like, oh God, somebody's probably recording this, whatever. I mean, we're recording, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Her boob, there was like one here and like one down here. And I was like, oh girl, somebody fucked you up. Like you should go back to that doctor. But they looked like very 90s like Playboy breasts. And I was like, oh my God, they gave her breast implants. I was like, they made her alien titties hot. Like, I was like, why? And I just think it's so funny how like, even in space, like we can't escape like the capitalism of it all. We can't escape the bureaucracy of it all. And we can't escape the male gaze. Like she takes back her power in the situation by being literally so much more physically powerful than any of the humans that she's like, all right, y'all, then I'm just going to be hypersexual because this is how I have currency. This is how I have agency. This is how I have power. And people do not talk about this enough that like, I mean, I think it's perfect that we are all such fans of Megan because like, that's literally what she does all in her, everyone's like, oh, Megan always raps about the same stuff. And I'm like, if you actually listened, like she has whole songs about like surviving her mom passing away and being shot at and this, that, and the other. But like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, justice for Ripley and justice for Megan. Like, that's my platform for the weekend, you guys.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes. I hope Sigourney is in the movie that Megan is going to make because it's going to be a horror movie. And I feel
I'm
like
so excited.
that's a combo I'd like to see.
It's going to be so good.
Me too. That would be fun.
I also
think-
love at the end
Oh,
when they're also concerned about the ship that's now going to Earth with all these aliens on it. And
yeah.
instead of like trying to destroy the ship, they're like, we'll just crash it into the Earth. That's fine, right? No one will be harmed in that way.
He literally just says, just crash it. And I was like,
And it's like apocalyptic. It's like, well,
Yeah.
there's
that
an Earth.
killed me.
So my last hot take for this movie is I feel like even though this was not a great movie, I like it better than the third one, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
for
think
sure.
this
100%.
would have been a really good place to end it and not continue going because we have more movies to go, obviously. And there's also that whole like Predator situation, which we did not get into this weekend, and I'm glad we didn't after what I've seen.
Good.
So,
We don't need that. We don't need that.
I feel like people need to learn when to close up shop because
Yeah.
just because your movie was good, don't mean it needs 18 sequels.
It was,
Well, and I
That
will say
part.
this gave me a good send off for Ripley because she is not in any other movies. So
right.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, because if
Thanks for
it's
telling me that.
they're prequels. Anyways,
I
if
didn't
it
know
had
that.
left off- I thought we talked about this. Anyway, if it had left off like it was in 3, I would have been like, is she the best? Is she so great? But then, this one kind of redeems her.
Oh my God. We didn't even get to talk about, sorry, this can be my last comment, then also hot take. When she gets dropped down into the pit with all of the tentacles and stuff, and she's just like letting it consume her. They should have put like sail away, sail away, sail away.
Oh my
That's what they
god.
should have used.
She was like
Because
crowd surfing.
She was so relaxed. She was like, yes, like she was getting her life. Yes, she was like so relaxed. And I was like, oh my God, she's crowd surfing in this like
Okay. Crowd surfing. In
yeah, she
KY jelly.
was. She's like laying across it, and it's like all the queen's body part. I don't know what all else was in there, but it was the queen. And I was like, oh my God.
It needed more squishy sounds.
Oh no, absolutely the fuck not.
More
I had a
KY,
visceral reaction to that. Oh God.
No,
What?
I just
What PA on set had to like lube the hallway when she
Right?
drops down and like sniffs it, and she's like, it's like drop down, get your alien on, girl. She's like huffing the hallway, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what PA had to like keep scooping out like globs of of like aloe to like just.
Can you imagine? I worked in the Alien movie. What did you do? I handled the
I was the
KY.
lube PA.
I was the lube. I was the luber.
Oh
I
God.
was the fluffer.
Yeah.
Stop.
Do you mean key grip? I guess you could say that, but it was just mostly lube.
I was the best boy.
Can you imagine getting like SAG or something with that? Like your last points, just like coating things in lube. I was like, one more wall, I'm union, mom.
Oh my God. Christ on the cross, you guys. It was so
Lord.
nasty. The whole movie was just so gross.
I need a bath
I'm
just
so
thinking
horny.
about it.
I know.
Yeah. That was Alien Resurrection.
That was Alien Resurrection.
Yes. We'll be back at
4:30.
4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central
Mhm.
for Prometheus.
Ooh.
Yeah.
One of my faves.
I love Prometheus. I'm excited to see what Sharai thinks.
Don't spoil
I
it for sure, yeah.
I'm
I
not.
can't wait because like this needs a win. This franchise needs a win.
This franchise needs a dub.
I hate to admit this. I've never seen Prometheus.
It's on HBO Max. Get your life right.
You can watch it with me now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. I'll get my apothic Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes. Oh my God, that's my
Yes.
favorite.
It'll be my first time having that too, so I'll be busting mad cherries through this experience.
Stop.
Maybe Sigourney will show up and bust a couple more because, like, she was on. She reminds me of that Retta moment from Parks and Rec where she's like, "It's hunting season."
Yes. She's like, it's
No.
hunting season.
Stop.
I'm a hunter, and it's you season.
It's you season.
That's what she
what it
says.
is.
It's you season.
It's you season.
Okay,
That was
I'm gonna
supporting
hop
for
off so
everybody.
that we. Yes, I'm gonna hop off so that I can rewatch everything in time.
Yes.
But I've seen Prometheus multiple times, but I have thoughts. So
It is pretty long, so we need the time.
yeah.
So we will see y'all right at 4:30.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.